Hi friends, it's Mr. Lake again with our ELA Lesson 8 today. If you'll follow along, I'll review our intention and our criteria for the week. We are learning to describe how one part of a story builds on another. We will be successful when we can identify transition words that show sequence, explain the sequence of events in a story, reorder the events of a story so that they are in order, and explain how one event affects another event. Just like with our other chapters, here for chapter 5 are some vocabulary words that you may not be familiar with. If you are, that is great. Our first word is stumped, unable to find an answer. Have you ever been stumped in class? I know I have as a teacher. Our next word is desperate. To feel hopeless that a situation is so bad that it is impossible to deal with or to be despaired with. Do you think that might be how Nell was feeling with the frogs? Maybe desperate to find a solution. The next word, situation. A condition that you are in, location, or surrounding of a place. So if we're thinking to our story, the situation right now is pretty horrible for those frogs, wouldn't you agree? Our next word, arch rival, an enemy, a nemesis. Do any of you have an arch rival? I hope not. Our last word, analysis, to analyze or investigate something. We're always analyzing information, aren't we? Yeah, we are. Chapter 5, A Dark Day. It was a fine day for measuring tadpoles. In fact, that's exactly what Nell Fossey was doing at her desk when the phone rang. She set aside the chart she was plotting and told her tadpoles to take a break. Doyle and Fossey, she answered. It was Drake. Nell, breaking news. Turn your TV to channel 5. Check. She clicked on the TV. A local news reporter was talking. We've got a situation here, a real situation, a desperate situation. As you can see behind me, a truck is wedged under the bridge. Plainly, it was just too tall. And now it's stuck. No traffic can get through. Let's pause there, friends. What is Nell doing at the beginning of this chapter? Yeah, being the naturalist that she is, she was measuring her tadpoles to see how big they had grown. And what trait do her actions show? Remember, character traits, remember fast. That's right. Caring, compassionate. She's determined, maybe. Yeah, let's go on. And if that isn't bad enough, it's rush hour. Drivers are getting cranky. As you can hear, horns are honking, and it's miles and miles to go around. Like I said, it's a desperate situation for the town of Mossy Lake. Nell turned off the TV. What do you suggest? This is a chance for Doyle and Fossey. With our superior mental powers, we should have that truck out in a flash. Meet me at the bridge. Check. Click. 20 minutes later, surrounded by the sound of honking horns and the shouts of angry drivers, Nell and Drake pushed through the crowd that surrounded the truck. Stand back, kids, said the police officer. Let the professionals do their jobs. Nell handed the officer their business card. Doyle and Fossey, she said, at your service. Of course, Miss Fossey. Didn't recognize you at first. My apologies. The officer lifted the yellow tape barrier and Nell and Drake entered the scene. There were firefighters, engineers, and news crews. There were politicians, truck drivers, and the mayor. They stood on the bridge. They climbed on ladders, they peered under the truck with flashlights. They held meetings. All in all, everyone seemed quite puzzled indeed. Nell set to work immediately. She observed, she measured, she calculated, she charted, she scratched her head. Meanwhile, Drake was calculating the height of the truck and scribbling in his lab notebook. Finally, Drake and Nell held a small meeting of their own. "What do you think?" Nell asked. Drake shook his head and pushed up his glasses. "It's jammed tight. They've already tried to drive it out, but it's just wedges in farther." Nell nodded. "Plus, they've tried pulling it with a tow truck from the other side." "They've even tried greasing it," Drake continued. "But no go. To be perfectly honest, Scientist Nell, I'm stumped. Simply stumped." "Me too. This is a dark day for Doyle and Fossey." "A dark day indeed," Nell agreed. Just then, as if being stumped weren't bad enough, they spied James Frisco, the mad scientist, their arch rival. "Egats!" cried Drake, nearly dropping his notebook. "It's Frisco!" They watched in horror as Frisco climbed all over the truck. Unfortunately for Doyle and Fossey, Frisco was allowed to go anywhere he liked and climb over anything he wished because he was the police commissioner's son, mad scientist or not. Sometimes life was perfectly unfair. Frisco peered under the hood. He checked the brakes. He squinted through the windshield. He recorded the mileage. He scribbled in his lab notebook. And then he dashed away. "Great Scott!" exclaimed Drake. "He's gone back to his lab for final analysis." Drake turned to Nell. "We must solve the problem before Frisco does. Our reputation is at stake." "Agreed. I have an idea that just might work," said Drake. "Oh?" "I'm going to raise the bridge using hot air balloons." Nell was quiet, real quiet. There was something not quite right here. Something she couldn't quite put her finger on. It was that sixth scientific sense that all good scientists have. "We must return to the lab," Drake was saying, "for final analysis. Then we'll present our findings to the mayor and oversee the extraction operation. Assuming there are no complications, we'll be home by supper." "You go," Nell finally said. "I'm going to stay here just in case." Drake thought for a moment. "Good idea. I'll watch the TV, and if anything happens, I'll hurry right back. Check. Later." Wow, third graders, the end of that chapter is intense. So, thinking about character traits, what traits describe both Nell and Drake? And I want you to kind of think about it and use events from the book to support your answer. What are their traits? I agree. I think they're both very determined. Something I picked up on in this chapter, they're kind of competitive with that mad scientist, the Frisco kiddo. Yeah. Do you think Nell and Drake will solve the problem? Why do you think that? Friends, that was a great discussion. Be ready to share your thoughts with your teacher in your class today. What is Nell doing at the beginning of the chapter? We kind of talked about that. And what trait do her actions show? What trait do both Nell and Drake have? And when you think about this and go to discuss it, think about the whole story, the whole book so far. And how can you use your evidence to support what you're thinking? And then, do you think Drake and Nell will solve this current problem? We'll see. For your assignment today, you're going to be putting events in order, in sequence order for chapter 5. If you look over here, it wants you to type your response today to what trait do Nell and Drake have in common. Use examples from the book, all the chapters, to support your answer. You should be able to do this with at least 4 sentences. If you go more, that would be superb. let's glance back at our intentions and our criteria and see how we're doing. So we've been learning how to describe one part of a story and how it builds onto another. It's getting really intense in our book, I think, because of that. And we've been successful. We've been identifying transition words that show sequence. We've been explaining sequence of events in a story. And so now you're going to kind of reorder the events of a story and put them in order so that you can explain chapter 5. All right, friends, that's it for today. Hope you're enjoying this story. It's one of my favorites. See you tomorrow. And remember, sometime today, read for fun for just 20 minutes. See you tomorrow.